quick review on long-term ownership of the XJR1300, 2015, 16, 17. They're all the same. This is a review. I've had it 4 years. So I want to do a proper review, because most reviews online are either from shops trying to sell them or someone that's riding a bike from the shop lent them, so they're a bit biased. So here's a review. Been riding 36 years. I've owned everything from RD350 YPVS to Super Dream 250s to Z1000s, R1s, Fireblades, Gixxers, Ninjas, you name it. XT660s, I've had the lot. So wide range of bikes I've owned. Always owned 3 or 4 at one time. So you know, I'm not doing a review like some people. I go, this is my second bike. So here's an honest review. I love it. I ride fast. I don't hang about. But this bike, it's just a fun bike. It's not heavy. You know, people say, oh, it's like a bus. It isn't. You get on the bike like any bike. It's just a nice bike. Being 5-speed, the torque is amazing. I mean, you can plod through traffic in 5th gear at 30 mile an hour and accelerate straight up to 120. You could almost like an automatic. You can be really lazy with it. I've just travelled on the 60 mile an hour roads from Aviemore to Loch Ness. Traffic was down to 30s. I couldn't even be asked to change gear and just accelerating up. It will pull in any gear. Absolutely brilliant. What can I say? I've added some extras. It has a Hyper-Pro steering damper, Rizoma bar ends, OEM calf racer screen. I made a grille for that. It's got Dan Moto exhaust, your crash mushrooms, and it's got a Yamaha OEM tail tidy to shorten it down. Handling, honestly, superb. Really does handle great. The fun factor on it, and I'm used to riding sports bikes, it's just a good fun bike. Now, I rode the Z9 that everyone seems to be going for, the calf racer one. Compared to this, I thought the Z9 was just crap. Not crap, that's not fair. I just didn't think the riding position was right. I didn't think the quality of the bike in compared to this for the price. I think the Z9 they wanted like 9 grand for, a year or 2 old. 6 grand for a bike with had 800 miles on it. So, you know, I've had it 4 years. I'd get 6.5 for it back now. I've put about 5,000 miles on it, so not a lot. I always have other bikes, and with COVID, not got out a lot on it, sadly. But honestly, I can highly recommend this bike for fun factor, for handling. If you're going to pick some down points on it, the fuel tank. It's 14 litre fuel tank. You'll get about 120 out of it, but especially up here in the Highlands, you hit 50 miles, you better looking to fill up again, because at 80 mile, your warning light comes on, and you probably got another, I don't know, 30 odd miles. You'll be pushing it. I've had 120 out of it and was on absolute fumes, and it doesn't make for nice riding that little bit. So what I do is I'll ride the bike, means I'm looking down at my trip. If I've done 50 mile, I pass the garage, I fill it up again. Up here, that is. You're in a city or a town, it's not going to bother you, so it doesn't matter. But up here, the garages are far and few between. Yeah, there's not a lot I can't fault the bike. You know, you get a lot of bikes that you go, oh, it's got this niggle, it's got that niggle. I'm 30 inch inside leg, 5'10". I can be flat-footed on this. Moving it around, you know, it's a bit weighty, but until you get riding like any bike. The suspension's good. It's a bit stiff, they say, but I stiffened it up too. Mine was a bit wayward, but other than that, that's perfect. They say the seat's a bit hard, some people. Not I can do 200 miles on it and then go, okay, my arse is starting to feel it after 200 miles. but you feel that on any bike after 200 miles. I went to Applecross yesterday on my Tiger 800. I did 450 odd miles. My arse could feel that. So it is what it is. What else can I can't even fault the bike. For fun factor, I love it. I don't keep bikes very long normally. Like I say, I've owned 60 to 80 bikes. I've ridden most bikes, or a lot of bikes. This one stays in the garage. I've just recently sold my FZ1 and my Fireblade, switched them for this and a Tiger. But this, it's just one of those fun bikes. I get on it and you're happy doing 60 mile an hour speed limit, 70 mile an hour, with just the fun factor. So you keep your license, but while having fun. Where my FZ1, anything under 100 mile an hour and it weren't happy. This, it's just a fun bike. And the build quality, superb. You get some bikes so you go, oh, it's a bit placky tacky here or a bit crappy here. Honestly, the build quality on this bike, I cannot fault. Gear changes on the bike, clunky from first to second. A few riders have said that, or owners have said that on this bike, but there again, you don't redline from first to second. You use your first to pull away, put it into second, then every other gear is like butter. Yeah, and the torque on this, honestly, if you ride one of these bikes, the torque on them is just brilliant. I was just coming over the top, sitting in traffic on the 60 mile an hour stretch. I was doing 30 in fifth gear, being lazy, and it was clear. I pulled out and just opened up the throttle, and it went straight up to very high speeds in fifth gear, which, because these are only 5 speed from 30 mile an hour, so you know it will pull in any gear. But if you want to have fun with these, dead serious, you kick it down a gear, the thing will take off. For a big bike, it will take off, and the power delivery on this is smooth. There's no power band, it is just constant from about 3,000 RPMs right up to wherever you take it. It is a smooth power, which I love about this bike. There's none of that jerky on, jerky off. It's just smooth power. Fuel delivery superb, no jerkiness. It has a hydraulic clutch. I'm just trying to think what else really. It's just a really good bike. So if you're thinking about buying one of these, or you're thinking about buying a cafe racer style bike, i.e. I think it's the Z9 that quite a few people have bought, and I think they're like 9 grand second hand. I'd test ride this before you buy one of those, because this is a better bike, in my opinion, a much better bike. I've known 3 friends, or people I know through the business, that have bought the Z9s and have literally sold them within a month or 2 months. I had one mate who did 160 miles on his Z9, sold it. Just something wasn't right about it, which is the feeling I got when I rode the Z9. It was like I was on top of the bike, not really at one with the bike, if you know what I mean. But this, you get on it, and there's not many bikes that you get on and you just go, I feel at home on this. This I feel at home on, but it's, again, I keep saying it, it is a fun back to biking. Remind me of the 1980s, where I got on a bike and I'm going out for a ride, whether it's the Chelsea Bridge, Box Hill, Heston Services, whatever, but just enjoying the ride. That's what this bike's about, enjoying the ride. You know, I do Applecross, or I do Loch Ness on my Fireblade, or on my FZ1, or my Z1000 that I used to have, and you never see the scenery, because you were driving 100 mile a bloody hour, or whatever it is. You know, you're driving like your pants are on fire. This thing here, you can ride it at 30, 40, 50 and enjoying the ride. It'll go to 120, not a problem, and it's quite stable. I find the screen made a big difference for stability, and for me personally, at high speeds, I like the steering damper. It just, for me, it's perfect. I suppose they don't need it, but for me, I like the steering damper. I've had them on all my bikes, so I know, they've saved me a few times from either potholes or wobbles coming out of bends. But yeah, I'd highly recommend this. This is from owning this bike from, I think I've had it 4 years, maybe 3 years. It's, you know, and I don't normally keep bikes that long, but this is one of those bikes that, yeah, just stays in the garage. I love it. I love to pull it out. Same as the old XT660 I had. Cracking little bike, just for the fun factor. But yeah, anybody seriously thinking of getting a, you know, a calf racer style, retro style bike, out of all the bikes that are out there that style, I honestly don't think you can go wrong with these. And you can pick these up with under 3,000 miles on them for 6.5 grand. I paid, this was up at 6.8. I knew the shopkeeper. I got it for 6. I'd get 6.5 for it now. I've had it 4 years. You can't go wrong. You cannot go wrong with this bike. And sorry for babbling on a bit, people, but if you want an honest review from somebody that's owned the bike, not trying to flog it and so on, I would highly recommend it. Well, put it this way, my local shopkeeper, which I know very well, I said, I've always liked these. And he said, take it out for a test drive, get it out your system. He says, because you won't like it, blah, blah, blah. You don't want it. And he knows I don't buy bikes from the shops. I always buy private, you know, better prices. He threw me the keys. We put the plates on the back. I took it out for an hour and a half, come back. And he said, right, you got that out your system? I went, yeah, I'll buy it. So they gave me the deal on it. They made next to nothing on it. But, yeah, buy one. That's what I would say. If you're going for a calf racer, buy one. It purrs like a kitten. Absolutely. And with the exhaust on it, I don't know if I can start it without having... No, I've got it in gear. So let me just see if I can... Right, it's out again, I think. Yep. That puts a smile on your face. That's what it's about. That puts a smile on your face. Hope this helps somebody out on a review on buying it. That's me.